As a listener to the Mood and Food podcast, you can save a full 20% off the complete range of vitamins and supplements for your mental and physical health at iGenus.com. All you have to do is enter the code ADDVITALITY in capitals at checkout. That's ADDVITALITY in capitals at checkout, and your order will be discounted by 20%. And the website at iGenus.com contains some great articles and health information too. That's IGENNUS.com.
Hi, this is Andrew Bridgewater, Chartered Psychologist, and welcome to episode 66 of the Mood and Food podcast. It's been a couple of months since I recorded the Mood and Food podcast, and I've actually been on a really fascinating journey on something quite different, which is something I want to share with you. And just a little bit of background context first. So I realised recently that I've been carrying probably about a stone more weight than I wanted to, 14 pounds, but it's uncomfortable. And I realised that actually some of my clothes weren't fitting well anymore. But more importantly than that, there's a deeper problem, because when we hold weight, and even sometimes when we don't hold weight, as we age, we run the risk of accumulating what's called visceral fat around our vital organs and inside our body. So it's not necessarily visible from the outside, but for many people it can be evidenced by a belly and weight on the outside of the body. But even if you're not carrying weight around the outside, the chances are that if you haven't been following the approach that I'm going to share with you, you will have already accumulated some visceral fat around your vital organs. Now, this visceral fat is actually very dangerous. It's been found to be a key contributor to major health conditions like heart attacks, strokes, cancer, diabetes, and also mental health decline. So dementia is sometimes described as the third diabetes. And it's becoming more prevalent, I think, in society. When I was growing up, we didn't have dementia homes everywhere. I think people are definitely living longer, but something has changed, and I do think it's diet and lifestyle. So what I'm going to share with you is my first 2 weeks' experience on something called the ketogenic diet and lifestyle. Now, you may see it described as carnivore. I've not been going pure carnivore, so I have been including some non-meat foods, simply to provide variety, but there are plenty of people who just go carnivore. Now, when I first heard about this, there was a certain amount of eye rolling from me, because I thought, well, you can't possibly exist on meat alone. And then the person I was talking to said, well, what do lions do then? I thought, well, we're not lions. But anyway, the more I've dug into this, the more fascinated I've become. So I thought, right, I've got to put this to the test. So what I'm going to share with you are sound bites of real experience from my first 2 weeks on the ketogenic diet and lifestyle, mainly carnivore, but not entirely, and the results that I'm starting to experience. And quite frankly, it's been mind-blowing in 2 weeks. If you want to lose some body fat for the summer holidays, this is the easiest way you're ever going to do it. Not only that, you're actually improving your cellular health from the inside out and reducing the risk of this visceral fat causing you major health conditions and a potentially slow, decrepit decline into old age. Now, at 64, I'm very keen to embrace anything that allows me to feel younger, live younger, and live longer. And I want to have life in my years, not just years in my life. And I do believe that what I've discovered, and plenty of other people have come before me on this, it's not just me, but what I believe is that this is really quite amazing and very transformational, and certainly has been for me already in just 2 weeks, as you'll hear. I'm probably going to divide this information into 2 podcasts, and what you'll find is me recording as I was going. It's not perfect sound recordings, because sometimes I was out in the open, sometimes it was a little bit breezy. But what I wanted to give you is a real sense of somebody going with this approach, the challenges, the experiences, the benefits, the feelings that I've been having as I've been working through it. Now, what I'm going to do also is provide you with lots of references to go further into this. And there are some really great practitioners who I'm mentioning through the conversation here, and I'll provide further details in the show notes so that you can actually dig in to the resources that I looked at to start to get the results that I've been getting in just 14 days. 14 days, which is not very long, is it? And I don't believe this is just a shot in the dark that won't continue. I think I may adapt it later once I've lost the stone, but I think I'm always going to retain some aspects of this because it has been transformational, not just for my weight, for my inches. I've lost inches. I'm wearing clothes I haven't worn for years, and I'm feeling so much more energetic. Anyway, you can sense the passion. So with no further ado, I'm going to go straight into the voice notes that I recorded to share these with you. This is ketogenic diet and lifestyle as it happened for me in these first 2 weeks.
So this started last Sunday. So today's the 30th of April. It's Thursday, so started 4 days ago really. And I've been eating grass-fed burgers, lots of eggs, king prawns, cream, sardines, and I haven't gone completely carnivore because I have had the odd occasional bit of fruit, very occasional, a few carrots every now and again, really just to break up the monotony and for taste and texture really. What I have noticed is that I can feel a shape change in my body. I feel like I'm losing belly fat. I've generally felt okay. When I felt hungry, just eat something that's consistent with the plan. So what I would tend to do is just have a few king prawns covered in cream, extra thick cream with salt and pepper, black pepper, ground rock salt, and that was actually really delicious. But my favourite so far has been the grass-fed burgers with king prawns smothered in double cream, salt and pepper. It's absolutely delicious. So it's just... and adding extra salt to the burgers because apparently you're supposed to up your salt intake on this approach. So generally pretty good. The only thing is my morning routine going to the toilet hasn't been as regular, so I feel not completely cleaned out intestinally. But I'm interested in doing it, and I'm certainly going to give it a good go, probably for about a month, and just see what happens, see what the results are in my body and how I feel. I mean, the interesting thing is when Hazel first talked about it and she told me what she was doing, and when she had 3 burger patties and nothing else, I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds so dull. It makes it very difficult to go out and eat. And because I didn't understand anything of the sort of science behind it, I didn't really get it. But as I've watched videos that she sent me and I've found myself, I've realised why it's so useful. Because what reducing carbs so extensively does is it cuts down the body's need to produce insulin, which in turn tends to cause us to hold on to fat. So by cutting carbs so dramatically and upping the meat diet, I can potentially push my body into fat burning mode rather than sugar burning mode. And that's going to help get rid of visceral fat, which is the fat around sort of vital organs and inside the body, as well as external fat. And it's the visceral fat that's particularly dangerous. You know, this can cause all sorts of problems, heart attacks, cancer, strokes, diabetes. Diabetes type 2 is very common, becoming increasingly common as people are living on high sugar, high carb diets. So I think reducing carbs for the first time in my life, I didn't think I could do it. I thought I would be hungry all the time. You know, I used to have bran cereals and almond milk or oat milk and toast for breakfast, thinking that was okay. Actually, I've been having 2 or 3 eggs for breakfast, soft-boiled, and feeling fine on that. So I had 2 burgers tonight, which probably was one too many, actually. I think I could have just had 1. I think I was just feeling a bit hungry earlier in the day, so I overcompensated. 1 burger would be ample, actually, going forward. Note to self. So lots to reflect on. Generally pretty positive, and we'll see what the medium-term results are. But I'm inclined to keep doing it. And even when I go to Peter and Emma's wedding on Saturday, I can just pick about and eat 1 or 2 things which are low carb. That's my early experiences with it. I'm pretty positive, as I say, so we'll see what happens.
So this is day 11. I'm feeling good. I've definitely lost weight. I've lost inches. I'm wearing t-shirts that I haven't been able to wear for many years and feeling comfortable in them. And I'm feeling energetic. So I've literally just walked up quite a hill and back down again, round through the woods, and I'm going back to my house now. Probably a 4-5 mile round trip. Feeling great on it. And you can hear the birds appreciating my well-being as well in the background. Honestly, unbelievable, because I think you'd have got the sense from the first audio that I created a few days into this approach that I was a little bit disbelieving, because everything I'd been led to believe said you needed fibre from plants, you needed to eat cereals to fill you up. My mum's advice used to be, if you're hungry, have a banana sandwich. And actually, I suppose back in the day it probably wasn't bad advice, but I've realised how that wasn't helping me anymore, because I'd reached a stage where I wanted to lose a stone, but nothing seemed to make a difference. And I mean, I've lost significant weight in the past. 15 years ago, I lost 4 stone in weight and did keep it off for a long time. And it's gradually, most of it, not all of it, about 2.5 stone of that 4 has inched literally back on. And I got to a stage where I thought, no, this has got to stop. And I think this is it. And the great thing is that I won't need to do this forever unless I want to, but what it has done is it kind of feels like it's kick-started my metabolism into fat-burning mode, and therefore I can lose this excess weight, but more importantly, the dangerous visceral fat that I mentioned in the previous episode, I can lose that around the vital organs, which is so important for health, especially at this stage. I'm 64. I don't want an old age of ailments and higher risk of significant disease, the sort of things I'd mentioned last time. And this just seems to be a great way of managing, or not ensuring entirely, but managing the risk. And it hasn't been boring. Food has never tasted better, because my taste buds seem to have sprung to life in a way that they hadn't before. So things like grass-fed beef burgers, free-range organic eggs, soft-boiled, covered in thick double cream with salt and pepper added. Sounds awful, doesn't it? But actually, it's been the most delightful tasting food, particularly if you buy organic. So when I had organic free-range eggs, I bought some yesterday, the taste, it's just unbelievable. So anybody listening to this, I'd urge you to try it, even if it's just for a few days, and experience the results in your mind and body, and then you be the judge of whether it's something that's useful to you. But I'm certainly finding it useful, and I'm going to keep doing it for the foreseeable future. Now, one challenge I did have, and I think I mentioned this on the last episode, is that I went to a wedding last Saturday. It was my brother's wedding, and it was quite difficult to eat following this approach, but I did manage to do it. So I didn't have wedding cake, I didn't have dessert, I had a few berries for dessert, strawberries and raspberries, but just a very few, because really we shouldn't be having more than 20 grams of carbs per day, which is not very much actually. So what I've started doing is looking at the carbohydrate content of everything I'm buying or eating, and making sure that it's a very low content. So things like brie cheese, feta cheese, eggs, not milk, because milk has got carbs in it, but thick double cream, or even just double cream, really good, just high fat, low carbs. Now, which is crazy, isn't it, when you think we've been told for years to watch out for saturated fat, watch out for high fat content foods. So we've all been thinking that low fat cottage cheese, low fat this, low fat that was right for us. It's not. It really isn't. But you have to do something different. You have to cut out the carbs and the sugar to create this ketosis. Ketones are small molecules of fat that are very easily absorbed by the brain. They pass through the brain-body membrane very easily. And what that means is that we're literally reducing the risk of dementia at source. Now, this isn't well understood. I don't realise there are so many cases of dementia in life, later life for people now. But I've realised there is an alternative route, and I'm starting to feel very passionate about this, because it's information that I was not aware of. Even my mother, who was very into health, would have been horrified if she'd known what I've been eating for the last 11 days. But actually, she didn't know what she didn't know about this, bless her. It's fascinating. So I'm going to keep recording my experiences like this, just as I say, a record of what I've experienced, what the challenges have been. I think it's better to say you're on keto than it is a carnivore diet, because people will suddenly launch straight into, oh, you can't survive on meat alone, which is the way I objected to it in the first place. But clearly you can. It's just fascinating. So have a look into it. Google carnivore diet. Follow some of the leaders in this space. Dr. Sean Amara is very good. The Primal Podcast, very good. And that will give you a starting point, then you can go down the rabbit hole wherever you want with it. Okay, more to follow in due course.